This is Monkey World, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. With every animal comes a story. Some funny, some shocking. Dramas great and small. Today on Monkey Life, toddler chimpanzee Brian recovers from his 5,000-mile journey from Mexico. And there's a medical crisis for chimpanzee Jolene.
We're going in here as an emergency to see if there's anything that's feasible to do. I'm frightened there isn't.
Many of the primates rescued by Monkey World arrive with physical and psychological scars from their previous lives. It's the job of the primate care staff to rehabilitate them, and one of their priorities is settling the animals into family groups.
Little boy, say hello.
It's early morning and the newest arrival is ready for breakfast.
Hello. What you been doing?
3-year-old chimpanzee Brian arrived late last night after a 5,000-mile journey from Mexico.
I spent the night to start with next door to him, and he was really calm. A little bit jet-lagged, waking up every couple of hours and investigating everything. But apart from that, he was, he had a good night.
Brian was stolen from the wild in West Africa. He was found living in Mexico and confiscated by the authorities. He's still a toddler, so it's hoped that he hadn't suffered too much physical or psychological damage. Sadly, he had most of his teeth pulled out by his owner, but this hasn't affected his happy nature.
He's a really nice lad. He's full of character. I mean, you can see he's all over the place. He's not sat in one corner worrying at all. He's just really enjoying himself.
Brian seems to love fruit, but he is a bit lazy and only eats it if it's peeled for him.
You want a grape?
This habit will have to change because once he joins the chimp nursery, breakfast will be self-service.
You're going to have to learn to do this yourself. We have another 59 chimps to look after as well, you know.
With breakfast over, there's one last job for headkeeper Lee. But Brian thinks it's his first game of the day.
I think you're all nice and soft.
Because of the climate he comes from, it's going to be far more humid than it is in this country. So what we do tend to find is that the skin will dry out slightly. So what we'll do is we use vegetable oil to put on the hands and feet, on the coat if we can. At this age, if you make it all nice, when he's an adult, it's not going to be a problem when we need to oil his hands or feet. I mean, his hair is absolutely lovely, his skin is absolutely lovely. You know, there's a couple of dry patches on his shoulders, but that's going to happen. But apart from that, and only having 3 teeth, he's really, really in good condition.
And for Brian, the oil is also the perfect drink to wash down his breakfast. In the next few days, he'll have a full health check, and then he'll meet his new family, including resident tearaway 7-year-old Seamus.
He's going to be an excellent playmate for Seamus. Probably one of the things Seamus misses is that someone who's full of life and wants to get involved. Brian's perfect. You know, he should fit in so well. Yeah, within a week of playing with Seamus, you're going to be horrible. You're going to be horrible. Oh.
There are 15 different species of primate at Monkey World. They all originate from a variety of habitats, from the forests of Africa to the jungles of South America and Asia. But one thing they all have in common is that they have larger brains than most other animals, which means they need lots to keep them occupied. Their wild cousins forage for food for most of the day, often travelling long distances between feeding sites. So here at the park, the primate care staff always try to find new and interesting ways to encourage the animals to work harder for their food. Today, Paddy's chimpanzee group are getting a puzzle feeder. Wedged in the holes are carrots, apples and peanut butter, perfect for keeping the troop busy. chimpanzee's primary sense is sight, and it doesn't take long for 17-year-old Chatter to spot the feeders. The others are not far behind. Alpha male Paddy isn't very bright, and it looks like the feeder is a bit too challenging for him, so he's happy to let the females investigate. When food is concerned, it's every chimp for themselves, and a chimp's life would not be the same without some sort of squabble. 26-year-old Grisby soon works out her game plan. She tries to hog as much of the pole as possible. And, as usual, right in the thick of things is the youngest of the bunch. Eddie is 5 years old. She was born at the park, and she's the only chimp to be successfully raised by her group from birth. She's desperate to get her hands on the treats, but Grisby's still determined to hog the pole. And now that Eddie is 5, she'll just have to wait her turn like the others. Eddie, the ambitious, is not going to give up that easily. But she is testing Grisby's patience. Eddie is beginning to realise that she's quickly losing her baby status privileges. Cheeky Gamba is also getting frustrated with Grisby's control over the feeder. He comes up with a plan to dislodge Grisby, but she's not going anywhere. Even second-in-command Jimmy has to wait patiently for his turn. But when alpha male Paddy decides it's his turn, Grisby reluctantly gives up. Male chimpanzees are larger and heavier than females, weighing 45 to 50 kilograms. But for once, Paddy's size doesn't give him an advantage, and he gives up before it gets embarrassing. In the park's woolly monkey house, life has completely changed for one of its new residents, baby Julio.
He's a fully functioning member of this woolly monkey group now, you know, and is still quite happy when I come and see him. Obviously, he's still quite clingy and wants to sort of have protection and attention and all of that. And so I think we've done really well. I think we've got a healthy, well-adjusted little woolly monkey that's part of a functioning group.
Alison spent 7 months hand-rearing Julio because his mother rejected him. But a few weeks ago, he spent his last night in the company of humans.
Very next morning, I brought him down here. We put him in, and he's never come home again. Julio's still getting 3 milk feeds a day, and he generally takes about 50 mils at a time. So when I come down and visit him, which is just about once a week now, it's not that often, just enough to know that I'm still here and I still care about him and love him dearly, and you know, he actually sort of bounces away after our visits, quite happy to join back with the other woolly monkeys, but clearly quite happy to have seen me and spent a bit of time with me as well. So we sort of have achieved the perfect balance. I mean, I'm quite surprised whether it's that Julio's just a progressive, lovely little monkey, or whether it's that we just got the timings just right on all of his transitions in life. He was young enough that he wasn't still hideously clingy to me, although he was clingy to me, but not too much so that he wasn't prepared to consider other options. And yet he was old enough that he was sort of able to sort of go in with the others and be a relatively happy little camper.
Julio now lives with 2 males and 3 females, including his own birth mother.
Susie and Lena love playing with him, and even his mom has taken a wee bit of interest in him, not too much. Good boy. Okay, little man.
Now, Julio will spend the rest of his life living with the other woolly monkeys. And one day, he might even father a baby himself.
Are you hiding, Julio? Good boy. We'll see you later, little man.
Across the park in Hernania's chimp group, there's a medical emergency with one of the females.
Let's go. She's vomiting. She's passing diarrhea, which has become bloody. She's got fluid in her abdomen, and we are very concerned as to why she's taken this turn of events. It's quite possible there's something really nasty happening inside her abdomen. She's a very unhappy animal. She's in pain relief. And we're going in here as an emergency to see if there's anything that's feasible to do. I'm frightened there isn't.
Over the last few weeks, the primate care staff noticed that 10-year-old female Jolene was becoming increasingly unwell. She was losing her hair. Her face was swollen. She had stiff joints, no appetite. She seemed depressed. A few days ago, she was anaesthetized so that the vets could start doing some basic medical tests. They took x-rays, blood tests, and skin biopsies, but the results were inconclusive. The only option now is to do the exploratory operation. In the medical room at Monkey World, chimpanzee Jolene is ready for surgery. She's only 10 years old, still quite young to be so ill. The staff are worried that she may have a tumor. She arrived at the park 7 years ago from a laboratory in Holland. 3 other females were with her. Although they weren't experimented on, the park is worried that Jolene's physical problems now may have been caused by starting life in such an unnatural environment.
This is weird, Jeremy, because given how she's behaving with the vomiting and everything else, you'd expect to see hugely inflamed guts, which you haven't got.
Looks quite normal, doesn't it?
So I'm deeply puzzled. I can't find anything in the way of an obvious tumour to account for the clinical signs we've had, but I've checked every organ that I can see and it looks normal, except that the stomach itself feels much firmer, thicker, and edematous. That means fluid within the tissue.
Did you see them both?
Mike decides he needs a second opinion. The original investigation was done by wildlife vet John Lewis, so a baffled Mike calls him from the operating theatre.
The guts don't look inflamed. Everything else is normal. So I'm at a loss. I mean, the stomach just does feel doughy, but more than that, I can't say. All right, well, I'm going to take a biopsy from the stomach anyway. Right, okay, well, I'll do that and then close her up. Okie dokes. It may be that by taking everything out and putting it back in again, sometimes in these situations, miracles happen, and that's what we're after. I'm going to take a sample of the stomach wall now, and we'll send that off and see what comes and continue to nurse her. But there's nothing else to explain my symptoms. So, let's close her up.
While Jolene comes round from the anaesthetic, Jeremy and the team will stay with her. In fact, until he's happy that she's beginning to recover, the team won't leave her side. Back with Paddy's group, and the puzzle feeder is still keeping the troop entertained. Grisby is still hogging the pole, and Gamba is still waiting for his turn. Alpha male Paddy waits for no one. He's decided to give the feeder another try, and Grisby finally has to learn to share the treats. Though it's unlikely simply biting the pole will get Paddy anything more than a mouthful of plastic. In chimpanzee society, youngsters like Eddie pick up life skills by watching and learning from others. There are some things worth learning from Dad, Paddy, and there are some things worth forgetting about. Eddie's mum Susie is close by, keeping an eye on her daughter. But the 5-year-old is still determined to get her share and plucks up enough courage to push her luck again with Grisby. In the wild, chimpanzees use stones and sticks as tools to help them get their food more easily. At the park, 26-year-old Buster seems to be one step ahead of the group. He's also using a useful tool. Sneaky Mickey has worked out an even better plan. Why do it yourself when Buster can do all the hard work for you? At last, Susie and her daughter Eddie have their turn on the puzzle feeder. Although Eddie is now much more independent, it's reassuring to have Susie close by, and Mum is definitely the best person to learn from. On the other side of the park, there's another youngster who's growing up fast. Baby orangutan Dinda was rejected by her mum and is being hand-reared by keeper Mike. She's now 3 months old. And just like human babies, that means one thing.
Teething like mad, but I think the best thing for teething on is a finger, which is not really a good idea to let her get into the habit, because when she does get a few teeth through, she'll still think she can do it. You end up getting a really sore finger because it really hurts. You're going to just open your mouth and see. You can just see up to the top, her top gum. There's just 2 little white dots there, which I think are going to be the first 2 teeth that are going to come through. Something I find interesting is that all the ones that I've ever hand-reared, they seem to go through quite a bad time when they're teething. But I've never seen it with one that's being reared by the mother. The babies just don't seem to go through that same sort of torment that some of the hand-reared ones can. Now, whether they just don't show it in the same way or what, it just accepts it, I really don't know, but it's most peculiar. As you can see, she's got hold of my little finger now, and she's got it shoved right down the back of her throat, and she's chewing on it like mad.
It's not just Dinda's teeth that are developing. Her muscles need to grow too.
They tend to get a little bit lazy, so we're now trying to develop her to make her hang on, and as you can see, she's quite capable of hanging on. Yeah, what? You're going to be a footballer when you grow up, are you? Huh? Who are you going to play for? Huh? Yeah? Which team? The feet, if you watch that foot, see how it immediately grips hold of my finger. The other one, she's just got curled up. Open your finger, that's it. But she can hang on quite happily with those feet as well. But I also remember that when Kai was growing up with his mum, Xiao Kuai, that she actually had the same problem when Kai was first starting to, when she was climbing with Kai, that Kai was getting a little bit lazy, and she actually had to sort of put Kai between her knees and use her chin to sort of hold the baby like that as she was trying to climb up. And now Kai's brilliant. Kai can actually cling on, and he's fabulous. So Dinda's going through really the same sort of things. But we're going to make you climb a bit now, aren't we? And we're trying to get her used to going on the back. Can I just have your hand? And just hold on. Because they will actually ride on Mum's back like that. Of course, I haven't got anywhere near as much hair as an orangutan has, so poor Dinda's at a distinct disadvantage. She's got nothing to get hold of except my ears or my earrings, which she's not allowed to touch. But she hasn't quite sussed this one out yet. So the hands haven't really got hold of there. As you see, she's trying to hold on to the hair on my head. I should really have a nice long wig on or something like that for her to hold on to. I can't see what she's doing, but she seems to be quite relaxed up there. Are you doing up there all right, girl? Yeah?
Across the park in the Bachelor's Chimp group, the 2 newest recruits are still the centre of attention. 13-year-old Charlie has settled in well since his move from the nursery group, and today he's enjoying some attention from high-ranking Jester. Everyone at the park is delighted to see Jester and Charlie bonding. Jester can be pretty aggressive, so it's nice to see him being considerate to his new housemate. And a bit of pampering puts anyone in a good mood. The other newcomer, Gypsy, is enjoying the attention of alpha male Butch. Butch seems to really like him, and Gypsy clearly loves hanging out with the boss. Moving chimps into new groups is always risky. They might not be accepted, and there's a chance they won't fit in. But that doesn't seem to be a problem for Gypsy. It looks like he was born to be a boisterous bachelor. New boy Charlie has even managed to entice an older chimp, also called Charlie, into a gentle game. Like us, chimps have a long childhood. They're not considered adults until they're 13 to 15 years old. At 13, new boy Charlie can just about hold on to his childhood and enjoy playtime. But at 22, older Charlie soon loses interest in messing about. He prefers more mature activities, like grooming. But new boy Charlie doesn't give up, and soon he's worked his magic on the whole group. It's playtime all round. Back with baby orangutan Dinda, her life lessons are continuing. She is taken into the orangutan nursery group on a regular basis. When she's ready, this will be her new home, so it's important she gets used to their lifestyle.
This is not a human baby. This is an orangutan baby. And we sort of do things like mums would do, pick them up, look at their nails. And as you can see, she's quite happy to be pulled in this sort of direction and picked up. And I'm sure Xiao Kuai would have actually sort of been grooming little Kai and pulling him about like this, down his ears and all sorts of things. And that's the sort of thing that we do with little Dinda here, is treat her like her mum would, so that she grows up thinking she's an orangutan. Very important orangutan. You know, my job's not to make babies out of them. I don't want something that's going to start crying and whinging for me every time it sees me. You know, if they can be part of that group, then that's great. That's my job, and you know, we've all done it well. If they think of themselves as an orangutan, you know, they're not to grow up thinking of themselves as human beings. We know how to do it now properly, so that we can make orangutans and not funny little cross things. That's good, isn't it? Eh?
Next time, we find out if chimpanzee Jolene recovers from her mystery illness. And we catch up with the park's youngest chimp babies, Ash and Rodders.